He had the kind of life that looked effortless, handsome, successful, and endlessly charming. To millions of fans around the world, Drew Scott was the cheerful face of HGTV's Property Brothers, the guy who could make any dream home come to life. But behind that easy confidence and warm smile was a story very few people knew. A story filled with health scares, financial collapse, heartbreak, and quiet battles that tested his strength at every stage. This is the real journey of Drew Scott, a man who proved that sometimes the hardest renovations are the ones that happen within ourselves. Early dreams and harsh realities. Drew Scott was born on April 28, 1978, in Vancouver, Canada, just 4 minutes after his identical twin brother, Jonathan. From the start, their parents, Jim and Joanne Scott, taught the boys two essential lessons: dream big, but work harder. Their father, a former Hollywood stuntman and actor, inspired creativity, while their mother grounded them with education and discipline. At only 8 years old, Drew and Jonathan were already entrepreneurs, making nylon hangers and selling them door to door in their neighborhood. It wasn't glamorous, but it was their first taste of building something from scratch, a spark that would define their lives. But Drew's early passion wasn't real estate. It was basketball. Tall, athletic, and competitive, he dreamed of playing professionally. That dream ended abruptly when injuries cut his athletic career short, forcing him to rethink everything. With his father's Hollywood background, Drew turned his attention to entertainment. He studied acting at the University of Calgary while picking up small TV roles on Breaker High and Smallville, even working as a body double for actor Tom Welling. But fame didn't come easily. The rejections piled up, and the paychecks didn't. Still, Drew kept chasing the dream, pouring money into acting classes, new headshots, and endless auditions. It wasn't long before he was drowning in debt, more than $100,000, and questioning whether his dream was worth the cost. Financial ruin and reinvention. By his mid-20s, Drew was juggling side jobs and overdue bills. Acting had left him drained and hopeless. Meanwhile, Jonathan was facing his own nightmare. His dream of becoming a magician had collapsed after a business partner stole most of his savings. Bankrupt and broken, the twins were both at rock bottom. But where most people might have given up, the Scott brothers found a way to rebuild. They went back to what they knew best: real estate. Using the experience they'd gained flipping homes during college, they started buying and renovating properties again. Drew earned his real estate license so they could handle every step themselves. No middlemen, no shortcuts. Each project was a step out of debt, and slowly, the brothers began to see progress. For Drew, real estate became more than a financial recovery. It was redemption. Acting had taken his money and confidence. Real estate gave him purpose and stability. He no longer needed Hollywood to define him. He was building something real, one home at a time. The rise of Property Brothers. By the late 2000s, television was shifting. Viewers wanted authentic, feel-good shows, something real, something hopeful. Drew saw an opportunity. He pitched a concept called My Dream Home, but quickly realized there was only one co-host who could make it work: his brother, Jonathan. Drew handled negotiations and business. Jonathan handled design and construction. Together, they had magic. HGTV loved the idea, and in 2011, Property Brothers was born. The premise was simple: help families turn fixer-uppers into dream homes. But what made it special was the brothers' dynamic. They weren't just renovating houses, they were restoring hope. Their sibling banter, humor, and heart transformed a renovation show into something much bigger. The success was explosive. Within a few years, Property Brothers was airing in more than 150 countries. Spin-offs followed: Buying and Selling, Brother vs. Brother, Forever Home, and Celebrity IOU, where they teamed up with stars like Brad Pitt and Melissa McCarthy to surprise deserving families. By 2019, the Scott brothers had built a media empire: Scott Brothers Entertainment, a production company, a design line, and a global brand. But while fame brought opportunity, it also came with relentless pressure. The health crisis that changed everything. In public, Drew Scott was unstoppable. A smiling face on magazine covers, juggling shows, appearances, and brand deals. But in private, he was falling apart. By 2019, he was quietly battling an illness that left doctors baffled. It began with fatigue, an exhaustion so deep that no amount of rest helped. Soon, his digestive system went haywire, and heat became unbearable. A simple walk in the sun could leave him dizzy and weak. Exercise, once a daily routine, became impossible. For a man whose entire persona revolved around energy and optimism, the loss of control over his own body was terrifying. For months, he sought answers. Doctors tested for autoimmune diseases, infections, even stress-related burnout. Nothing fit. Meanwhile, filming continued. Drew pushed through the pain, determined not to let his illness affect the show, while Jonathan quietly carried more of the load. Finally, after endless testing, the truth emerged. Mercury poisoning combined with chronic fatigue syndrome. The diagnosis was both frightening and a relief. He finally knew what was wrong. Left untreated, it could have been deadly. Drew took time off to heal. Through detox treatments, dietary changes, and lifestyle adjustments, he slowly regained strength. More importantly, he learned to value rest and balance. For the first time, he began speaking openly about burnout, encouraging others not to ignore the warning signs. His honesty resonated deeply with fans who had only ever seen the glossy version of success: love, infertility, and the fight to build a family. While Drew was regaining his health, he found light in the form of love. He had met Linda Fan, a creative professional, years earlier, and together they built a relationship rooted in patience, humor, and understanding. After 8 years together, they married in a beautiful ceremony in Italy in 2018. Like many couples, they dreamed of starting a family. But the journey turned out to be long and painful. Month after month, they faced disappointment. Linda was diagnosed with Graves' disease, an autoimmune disorder that made pregnancy difficult. The couple turned to fertility treatments, first IUI, then IVF, enduring years of doctor visits, tests, and emotional highs and lows. For Drew, who had already faced serious illness, watching Linda go through such a physically and emotionally demanding process was devastating. Yet they refused to give up. Finally, in late 2021, their perseverance paid off. Drew announced that they were expecting their first child. In May 2022, their son, Parker James Scott, was born. Drew described the moment as life-changing. "Our lives are forever changed. Welcome to the world, Parker James." 2 years later, in 2024, they welcomed their daughter, Piper Ray, completing the family they had dreamed of for so long. For Drew, becoming a father was his greatest triumph. After years of fear, loss, and uncertainty, he had the life he once thought impossible: a family, a home, and a renewed sense of gratitude. Loss, lawsuits, and the price of fame. By the mid-2020s, the Scott brothers were at the height of fame. Their HGTV empire was worth millions. Their shows ran worldwide, and their faces were synonymous with home design and transformation. Yet, With fame came public scrutiny. In 2021, a Las Vegas couple filed a lawsuit against Property Brothers contractors, alleging poor workmanship. Although Drew and Jonathan weren't personally named, their brand was suddenly linked to the controversy. It was a harsh reminder that in the world of television, one bad headline could undo years of goodwill. The brothers remained professional and cooperative, ensuring repairs were made and continuing to emphasize quality and trust in every project. But the emotional blows didn't stop there. Drew watched his brother face personal losses. The passing of his beloved dogs, Stewie in 2022 and Gracie in 2023, hit Jonathan hard. Drew was there for him, just as Jonathan had been through Drew's illness years earlier. Their bond, tested countless times, only grew stronger. Tragedy also touched the brothers through their professional circle. In 2022, they filmed an episode of Celebrity IOU with actor Leslie Jordan, who passed away unexpectedly just weeks later. Drew called him one of the kindest, most joyful people we've ever met. A sentiment that reminded fans that behind every episode and every smile, the brothers were human, grateful, humble, and deeply empathetic. The man beyond the brand. After years of non-stop work, Drew Scott finally learned to slow down. He no longer defined success by ratings or business deals, but by balance, by time with his wife, laughter with his children, and moments of peace away from cameras. Through financial ruin, illness, infertility, and fame, he discovered something profound. Happiness isn't built overnight, and no one's life is as perfect as it looks on TV. The glossy home reveals and picture-perfect renovations that fans adore are symbols of transformation. But the real renovation, the one Drew Scott spent decades working on, was within himself. He learned to rebuild his life the same way he rebuilt houses, patiently, piece by piece, never rushing, always believing that even after the worst collapse, something beautiful can still rise again. Conclusion: the real foundation of strength. Today, Drew Scott stands as a symbol of perseverance. Behind the charm and the fame lies a man who faced debt, illness, heartbreak, and exhaustion, and turned every setback into a stepping stone. His story reminds us that success doesn't mean perfection. It means persistence. From his humble childhood in Vancouver to his battles with health and infertility, from bankruptcy to global fame, Drew's journey shows that even the strongest structures sometimes need rebuilding. The difference is whether you give up or start again. So the next time you see Drew Scott revealing a dream home with that familiar smile, remember this: it's not just a house he's built. It's a life, renovated, restored, and stronger than ever.